Hey, Matt here. Rather than focus on one particular element, I just thought I would go through and do a series of videos on a bunch of random information. Seems just if I chuck some information out there, several people have said that they seem to pick up some stuff good that way. So this is just going to be random. So just starting over here with the harvester section, just kind of running through things. Pretty straightforward. The M button here lets you load a footprint file, in which case you can put tokens in there like percent %, percent, and it'll insert whatever you put on either side of that and put your whatever keywords are here where that token is. You can also simply type anything you want in here. So if you typed in like site, for instance, whatever, it's going to append the whatever you type here in front of all your keywords here. So pretty straightforward there. You can then clear that footprint. Of course, that would all be under custom footprint. You can, of course, search for WordPress, movable type, and blog engine with their built-in footprints. And any keywords in here, it'll tell you the number here in your proxies, and it'll just it'll list all your keywords out here. You can, of course, import keyword files. You can scrape different keywords, which we'll go over in a second. You can, of course, then save those keyword files. You can remove duplicates. When you hit remove duplicates, it's just going to remove them. So I've typed a few out here. It's not going to tell you anything. It just removes them. So it just takes away the duplicates. And then, of course, clear just clears everything out. Under the scraper, there's two scrapers. There's the original keyword scraper, where you type in a list of keywords over here on the left. You select your sources. Pretty straightforward. You can select Google or the various Google options. You can hit scrape, and it will scrape out keywords and put over here. Then you can, remove duplicates, move them back over here, and do it some more. You can achieve a lot of good results by using different ones. So pick a couple, scrape, uncheck those, pick a new couple, scrape, remove duplicates, keep moving them back and forth, and just keep selecting different ones, and you can use the different sources together to create some pretty good files. Pretty good sets of keywords. Then there is the new Wonder Wheel scraper, which is very nice as well. You select your engine over here, throw in your keyword here, and then you select your level. You can go all the way 5 levels deep, and it will scrape. So if I put in car, it'll scrape all the results for car. Then on level 1, then it will turn around and scrape all of the results for those results. So if it gives me 10 results for car, it'll scrape the 10 suggestions off of those results, and then so on and so forth down the chain all the way up into the hundreds of thousands depending on your keywords. You can also load up a list of keywords, although I'd be careful about loading massive lists of keywords because it could potentially scrape a couple 100,000 keywords for each and every keyword that you throw in here. If you put in, if you load up a list of 100,000 keywords, it's likely your machine will freeze before it ever finishes, in which case you might lose it all. So be judicious there and use smaller lists, at least to test with, depending on your machine, and you'll probably have better results. Of course, hit start, pretty straightforward, abort, pretty straightforward, and exit. You can export what's left over. You get your various export options here. Pretty straightforward again. It's a great scraper. You need to make sure you have proxies in there to work with it. Same thing on the other scraper, so you don't get your IP banned by the engines. Jumping down into the select engines and proxies section, nothing major here. You get to select your engines here. Of course, there's a drop down where you can select your different Googles and put more in there. Always a good idea to use proxies, most generally for the largest portion of what you would do. The results box, pretty straightforward. If you want to scrape 10 results for each keyword, for each engine, so I check Google, put 10 results, and I get 10 results, which is a great troubleshooting step because like I had a guy one time who couldn't figure out why he thought ScrapeBox was broken and he could only get 10 results for every keyword. Well, he had 10 selected here instead of 1,000, and it's always good when you have an issue to go back to the basics and look at basic things. If you need to scrape based on a certain time frame, you can hit the time option and it'll give you different options for the engines based on what they support and when you can scrape, so I can get everything in Google that's come online in the past 24 hours per se. Kind of handy in different scenarios. Proxies are pretty straightforward, but still see a lot of questions on them. If you want to use a SOX proxy, it has to have an S in front of it, and then the proxy. Of course, proxy format is the IP address, and then colon, and then the port. Standard proxy would just be the IP address, and then colon, and then the port, and then colon, and then username and password if there are username and passwords applicable. Again, pretty straightforward there. Loading up lists of proxies, saving off lists of proxies, and clearing out is all pretty straightforward. Manage proxies has had some changes over the past dozen updates or so. Some really nice features in here. It actually lets you harvest proxies from the original ScrapeBox sources and custom define your own. So we can do harvest proxies and we have the standard sources. We can also throw in our own custom ones. We can add a source. We can type in the URL of the source. We can type in from a file if we have a bunch of URLs, from the clipboard if we've copied a few, and then we can even get socks ones. So any URL scraped from a socks source will automatically append the S to it and put those in there, and then anything on the rest of these is going to not append the S to it. So if you're going to do a sock source, make sure you put it in the socks one here. Won't go into depth on it and the requirements on that, but it's pretty straightforward. It's going to scrape the proxies on the page. So you need to have a source that individual page has regular updates, not just it's not going to spider the site and look for proxies. It's just going to scrape the proxies from that source. Then we can check different ones and we can remove selected or add selected. Of course, start. We can abort, we can have it to replace the current list of proxies or not, cancel, and OK. So pretty straightforward there. Very nice to be able to choose your own custom sources. Of course, loading up lists and merging, that's pretty straightforward. This happens to be the new proxy management tab. The old proxy one would not give you the option to ignore Google, and you can change that under options, I think it is up here. If you're going to be doing things with Google, obviously you wouldn't want to ignore Google, but if you're doing anything else like posting or scraping Yahoo or Bing or anything else, you would probably obviously want to ignore Google because you're going to get a better result. Test and abort, straightforward. Unlock lets you unlock proxies for that session in that ScrapeBox instance that is working with Google. Cleanup is pretty straightforward. You can remove duplicate ones and filter out high latency ones, which is important if you're going to use public proxies for posting. It's generally a good idea to use lower latency ones, get a better result. Exporting is pretty straightforward as well. You can save the good ones or save them all. You can even create a report and then you can close it down. So proxies and engines are pretty straightforward. Under URLs Harvester, there's also been some changes in the past several updates. Some people still don't know about. So if we go over and we import a list, for instance, and we just want to pick up it's just a list I have here for testing. This list is not randomized necessarily. Or wait a minute, I apologize. It's not randomized. So it's all in numeric alphabetical order. If you bring in a list that is randomized, ScrapeBox will no longer alter the list and sort it alphabetically automatically. You can click the URLs tab and it will sort them either from top to bottom or bottom to top alphabetically and numerically. But if you export over here and you randomize and then you re-import, it will maintain the randomization here. So that's important to know because that gives you options to work with. You can also sort by page rank if you have checked the page rank. This is also the section where you would start harvesting, stop harvesting for scraping based off of your harvester keywords and your proxies. And then of course your lists that you have here, you can transfer them down below or various places and then clear them out. Jumping over here, pretty straightforward. Got a few things going on that some people don't know about. Removing duplicate URLs and duplicate domains is easy. Splitting off duplicate domains is really handy. I have some people that come in and they say, well, how do I get post? I want to post to 3 URLs on each domain, but no more. So let me talk about how to split the duplicate domains. And so just due to YouTube's time limitation, I have to cut this video off and we will continue talking about splitting off duplicate URLs in random video number 2.